Hi, this is Hodor Bino from DevilsDigest.com, reporting from Tulsa, Oklahoma, where Arizona State's seasons come to an end with a 91-74 loss to Buffalo. The Sun Devils finished the 2018-2019 campaign with a mark of 23-11. Much has been said, obviously, about Arizona State playing only 48 hours after their win against St. John's, and how would Arizona State come out just 2 days later against a Buffalo team who now has won 32 games on the year. Well, as you can expect, the fatigue definitely was an issue, but I also felt that Buffalo was simply the better team this year. All throughout the season, the Buffalo squad as one has been very efficient, both on offense and defense, and it definitely manifested itself today. Buffalo scored 10 three-point goals. Arizona State was only 3 from 22 from that range. Missed its first 11 shots from beyond the arc. We're 0-9 in the first half. That definitely was an issue. And I thought on defense, Buffalo absolutely suffocated Arizona State's ball handlers. You're already dealing with a player like Remy Martin, who pulled his groin against Oregon last week. Never has been the same player, and I think a lot of the offensive flow for the Sun Devils really suffered ever since. Luguentz Dort, if you recall, just a couple of days ago in the game against St. John's, took a hard fall. He still was dealing with a sore hip 48 hours later. That definitely affected his play as well, whether it was shooting or just bringing the ball up the floor. I thought that Buffalo did a great job of really clogging the lanes for the Arizona State guards to penetrate. The Sun Devils were resorting to outside shots time and time again, and I think also falling big early because with 8 minutes left in the first half, Buffalo was already up to a double-digit lead and never relinquished that lead until the end of the game. And I think Arizona State really felt rushed and pressured to make up that ground. And really, that became an issue, not only in the first half, but really throughout the whole game. Zylan Cheatham, in his last game as a Sun Devil, finished with 22 points and 8 rebounds. Bobby Hurley talked after the game about the great impact that Zylan Cheatham has had, not only in terms of his production on both ends of the court, but just as a leader. He talked about young players like Deshaun Cherry that really should do their best to learn as much as they can from a player like Zylan Cheatham. And for me personally, covering a player like him has been an absolute joy. He's definitely been media favorite, but like I said, I think that his impact and influence on the program is really much more beyond that. Another player that may have played his last game as a Sun Devil is freshman Luguentz Dort. A lot of mock drafts out there having Dort being selected late first round. Will that be enough to entice him to leave? That remains to be seen. We obviously did ask Dort after the game what his plans were. He said a big decision is coming, and a big decision is coming soon. Those are direct quotes from Dort. I think if you read between the lines, he probably also played his last game as a Sun Devil, but that remains to be seen. I know a lot of folks out there are very disappointed with how the season ended. I think there's also some disappointment to begin with that Arizona State had to return to Dayton for that first 4 game 2 years in a row. And obviously this year that definitely played a factor because they played a very talented Buffalo squad on very little rest. And I think that was an aspect that coming into the game you figured would have a pretty significant impact. And I think sure enough, it really did influence the outcome of the game. But I think, simply put, Buffalo was definitely the more talented team today. Like I said, their balance on offense and defense really has been their calling card all season long, showed up in spades over here in Tulsa. Arizona State definitely is a team that made a lot of progress from last year, finishing 8-10 in Pac-12 play in 2017-2018, improved that to 12-6, tied a program's best second-place finish in the Pac-12. Obviously, unlike this year, did win their first game in the NCAA tournament, and the future, I think, is definitely bright for this program. I feel that not having a backup point guard is something that really affected the Sun Devils throughout the year, not only because Remy Martin was injured last week, but I really feel throughout the season it's something they could use more of. I think that next year's team is going to be more guard heavy, and that's something that definitely should help Arizona State to take even a bigger step forward in the 2019-2020 season. we're going to spend the next few days and few weeks summing up the season for Arizona State. But for now, signing off from Tulsa, Oklahoma, this is Hod Rubino for DevilsDigest.com.